So up next, I'm gonna go ahead and install the shifter detent, I guess is the best thing to call it here. It's just gonna go right in here. And it has a spring. It goes from right here down to there. Just like that. Okay, then this is going to be torqued down to 22 Newton meters. Okay. Then last, I'll put the shift shaft in here. Better check, make sure this washer doesn't go here. It may go there. Double check that real quick. Okay, so yeah, the washer does go here on this side. So that shift shaft is just going to go straight through there like that. And then the other side, there'll be a washer and a circlip. So lastly, we'll go ahead and put the oil pump, there's the oil pump parts on. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the oil pump drive in. So the first thing to go in is going to be one of these big giant washers here. It just goes right here. Drop that in. Then I'll go ahead and bring the oil pump gear in. It's going to be the two little teeth go outward. Those engage with the clutch. The smoother side goes to the back. So you're going to put that on first, just like that. Okay. Make sure it's still on down there. Good. Yep. And then I'll go ahead and put in the sleeve. I don't know what you call it. Thing goes right here though. Big sleeve. Right there. And there's also the clutch bearing that sits on this as well right here. I'll go ahead and put a bit of oil on that. Okay, so then the last thing we'll put in here is this chain guide that goes right here. Okay, so then the chain guard is going to go just right in here, just like this. Make sure the chain's in it. And of course, it's going to be Loctited. And these will be torqued down to 10 Newton meters. And of course, make sure the chain's still free, which this one is. And then we'll be ready to put the clutch basket on next. Okay, so now we're going to start installing the clutch here. The first thing that's going to go in, of course, is the basket. And like I said, it has these little teeth here, these notches. You see there's 4 of them that engage with these 2 notches here. So I'll probably put those straight up and down so I can kind of find it. It's in there good. It is. You can see it's over the crank now. I usually kind of hold this chain to make sure it won't move freely without it. That way it'll pop down on it if it would. Up next is this washer that goes right here. It just kind of goes just like that. Then lastly is the basket of the clutch. So it's just going to go right here. Just like that. Okay, so then the washer goes on. It's pretty straightforward there. It's the way this is out. Make sure that's out. So these nuts, of course, are normally one-time use. I have one coming in, but I don't have it here yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on. They're torqued down to 95 Newton meters. This, of course, is going to be the clutch holder tool that I use to hold the clutch as I turns freely. So then normally I'd come in here and tap that in into that slot with a punch to make sure that it didn't come loose. So now I'm going to go ahead and start installing some of these clutch rings or discs in here. The first one's going to go in is just this flat washer right here that the small spring on the back of the clutch rests on. Yeah, that one right there. So that's going to go in just like that with the outside out in big letters. And then there's this weird kind of thin disc. It's the one that goes all the way there in the back right there behind those discs. And we'll pick a clutch plate. I think it matters which one, and that goes right there. Normally there's supposed to be a little wire that goes around in there that keeps these apart, but I don't have it for this engine, so I got to order that in too. It's just a wire that goes around it that keeps those clutch plates together. These clutch plates are also dry. Since I'm gonna take this back apart, I'm not gonna put too much lubricant on there yet. So they should not be dry like that. That's probably what went wrong with this clutch when whoever rebuilt it last did it. Right now I'm mostly just checking to make sure that everything fits like it should and I don't need to order a bunch of plates and stuff. But when the final install comes, it'll be done exactly the same way. The only difference is I'll be sure to have a bunch of oil on these plates. I think I may have done that in the Yamaha episode. You can see how much gravity that is right there. This plate here has some damage, so I'll probably replace this one. Yeah, it doesn't even want to go on, it's so damaged. So it probably got warped from the heat. Over here it's super stiff. So I'll go ahead and order one plate there. See, now the clutch doesn't want to rotate. And the last friction disc here. There we go. Okay, then the next thing anyway to go in is the pressure plate here. So there's two parts to it. There's this little nub here and there's pressure plate itself. So that's just gonna go right up there on the back. And then this just goes right on like that and will kind of click into place just like that. So now that clutch is installed. Of course, there'll be a spring on each one. Go ahead and drive these down. I'll kind of alternate going around the circle. All right, now I'll torque those down. Okay, so these are going to be torqued down to 10 Newton meters. Then of course the big clutch dowel pins are going to go in right here. Putting the gasket on. Okay. So this is probably one of the most tricky parts because you got to get the teeth on this lined up with the teeth in there, and that's a bit tricky. Usually what I do is try to get it pointing right to the front, which is where, towards the back rather, sorry, where the teeth are, and it'll usually kind of get it. Just take a little light wobbling around there. There it is. See, there we got it, and we got the dot lined up with the arrow here as well. So that's the second part of that. So that was definitely half luck. All right. So just Gonna put the bolts in for the clutch cover here. Nothing special about them really. So even though I've got my power tool, I'm going to start all these by hand here to avoid issues. These are going to be torqued down to 12 Newton meters. Okay, then of course that will also be torqued down to 12 Newton meters as well. Okay, so now we're on top of the engine. The only thing to really install here is this little baffle plate here. There is no dowel pins on this one because it doesn't really matter if it moves around a little bit. These are going to be torqued down to 12 Newton meters.